You remember just a few minutes ago we were talking about David and John Shearer, the two guys that invented the stump jump plough. Well, just as we leave Mannum here, it's worth remembering that David, one of the brothers, he also invented the first steam-powered automobile in Australia, the working differential. And apparently, so the story goes, he did that 10 years before Henry Ford invented his. Now, we're just a few kilometres upstream from Mannum, and those cliffs you can see behind me there are called the Rocks. And it was this quarry that 500,000 tonnes of granite was taken out of to be used on the locks and the weirs along the Murray here. And when we find some of these rocks a little later on, if we can see them a little better, we'll stop and give you all a look. You see that tree behind me there, up on the bank with the bark missing? That's called a canoe tree, and that was used by the Aboriginals to make canoes out of. They used to cut the big bark off it, and then lower it in the water and then use it like that. They'd use other branches to keep it pried open and then reeds to keep it all together. They'd also use the sap from the tree to plug up leaks. They also used the bark for shields for fighting and for containers for carrying things, and they also use it as a shelter. In a big storm they'd cut a bit off and then put it over the top of them. But we'll carry on a bit, this is very tricky, and we'll move further up the river. Now I'm here at Chucka Bend at the moment, and this place was named after a man named Charlie Cavan. And out of all of the clear water along here that you can see, one day his horse threw him into the only stinky mud pit that it could find. And then for months and months after that, they couldn't get the stink out of Charlie. Now one day, Charlie was back down the river at Mannum there, in a hotel called the Bogan Hotel. And apparently he was in a bad mood and shooting shot glasses off the counter with his pistol. So he was chased from there by the sheriff to this very corner, where then he jumped himself, his horse and his cart straight into the river. So Charlie threw himself into the river here somewhere, himself and his horse and cart, and swam to the other side. Now they say that after that day he never stunk of the river mud again, and as legend goes, when Charlie threw himself, his horse and cart in the river here, in the pitch dark in the middle of the night, at full steam, the stink jumped off him, and it was too frightened to ever return again. So we're just a few kilometres upstream from Walker Flat at the moment, which is 212 kilometres from the ocean. And as you can see behind me, we're starting to get into the gorge country. Now it was here back in the 1920s that men found fossilised shark skeletons in these cliffs that are over 20 million years old. So can you just imagine this whole area been underwater at some stage? It would have been quite incredible. Now before white men came to this area, for 20 to 30,000 years the Aboriginals lived happily all throughout this land. But when the white man did arrive, then things changed in a big way for the indigenous people. So when the white man found this area, they found their beautiful lagoons behind the riverbank there. And then they planted their crops and they grew their cattle. They sucked water out of the river to irrigate their land. And all of this moved the Aboriginals away. Now for the white man, they would take all their crops and their fish to the markets by riverboat here. The problem was, however, the riverboat was 3 or 4 days away from the markets once they left this particular spot. So usually all their produce went off. And then when the riverboat returned, the farmer would be left with a bill for payment to dispose of the fish instead of money from the markets for selling the fish. So it was a very hard time and a very hard place to live. However, every time one farmer left, there would always be another that returned to take his place and to try his luck. If you ever get to the other side of this lake, I want to show you an Aboriginal cave. However, it's a lot shallower than I thought. We're only about halfway across, so it'll be a little while still until we get there. Alright, that was really unpleasant. But these caves, I'm not even exactly sure where they are, so I'll take a walk around, see if I can find them, if I can, and I'll give you all a look inside. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, that way you'll get notified to all my new videos when I upload them. And if you want to contact me, you can do so through my website, the link's in the description below. See you next time.